In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Stephon Castle and how he shoots the basketball. He is a phenomenal shooter. There's a lot of things that he does in his shot that will actually help you become a better shooter. So let's get down and let's check him out. But really quickly, if you want to be able to shoot the ball from further away, make sure to go check out the shooting workout that is down in the description below. And if you want to be a higher IQ shooting guard and stronger and more skilled, make sure to go check out the shooting guard blueprint that is down in the description below. Now let's get down and let's check out Stephon Castle's shooting form. So this was from a training session, and we're going to be looking at footwork first, whether this is from the mid-range or from the three-point line. So after he gathers, he goes right-left, going back towards his left side. This is what allows his right side to get in line. Now this is the gather. The ball is gathered at his waist with his hand literally right on top of the ball, and it's gathered in the middle of his body. You're going to notice that his shoulders are not exactly in line with the rest of his body. This could actually lead to an inconsistent shot. You don't need to be squared to the basket. However, what you do need to be, or at least if you want to have a high percentage shot, is to have your shoulders, hips, knees, and feet all pointing in the exact same direction. However, here his right shoulder is a bit higher than his left, which to me looks like it's kind of tilted out versus the rest of his body being in line with the rest of his body. Being tilted away from the basket is not something that is bad, because what you need is to get your shoulder and your elbow and the ball in line with the rim. That's what I call the shooting triangle. So basically, at least a quarter of the ball has to be over top of either the upper arm or shoulder, doesn't matter, I don't care. And the shoulder and elbow have to be in line pointing to the rim. This is what counts for a straight shot. Now if we go into slow motion, we can see that he has some pretty good energy transfer. He catches on his toes, his hips and knees are pre-bent, and he's able to go straight up into his shot, and then it's all one motion all the way through. He does tend to pull his arm back earlier than you really should, in my opinion. This, when you pull back, can be classified as a quick release. However, if you can just leave your arm up like this, fully extended, for at least a half a second, that can lead to a greater consistent shot. We can also see with his offhand that the palm is facing somewhat down. The thumb is somewhat facing towards the rim. This is a slight thumb flick. We're going to have to take a closer look to see if it actually affects the ball. However, he has a soft release, very similar to like a Steph Curry, where with a soft release, that's able to give you a little bit more arc on the ball, but what it does is it takes the backspin, a little bit of backspin, away from the ball. Something I do notice also is when he goes up for his shot, his feet tend to glide forward and his shoulders tend to glide back. This is the normal pendulum style effect where this can actually give you a little bit more range. I know most coaches, even myself, will say go straight up and straight back down in your shot. Drifting your feet forward, if your shoulders also drift forward, what that will do for you is that will give you way too much power. If you find that your shot goes over the rim, this could be why. However, if your shoulders go back the same distance roughly as your feet go forward, this is a pendulum effect that will actually give you more power, but it's not going to give you crazy power where you're always overshooting. Okay, so now if we look at his actual release, and we zoom into his actual release right here, what do we see? Well, when we start seeing the release, we're seeing that the hand, the guide hand, which is this hand right here, that hand releases from the ball first, and then it points towards the rim. Which means that even though it looks like a thumb flick, this is not a thumb flick that is actually affecting the ball. Because the hand releases before the thumb flick goes through, what this is doing for you is, at least it's showing me, is what happened at least earlier on in his career, or maybe when he was a kid, he might have had a massive thumb flick. So it's muscle memory for the hand to move like that. But now it's not affecting the shot. He's removing it earlier. So now when he's going into his shot, this is actually a really great drill to be able to mimic kind of like an attack from that left side going right and pulling back into a shot. This is a fantastic drill where you're almost in a lunge and you pull back. However, we can really take a look at his elbow and see the angle that is on the elbow, because this is really telling. So what we're looking at is from the elbow to the ball, it's about 43 degrees. Old school coaches will always tell you to go with a 90 degree. I kind of disagree. New school, basically you're looking at 45-ish degrees is normal. The reason being is when you release the ball at 90, you tend to have a lower release. While if you have a 45 roughly degree angle in the ball, you tend to have a higher release. And if you want to be able to get that shot over a defender's hands, then this can actually help you have that higher release, because it forces that ball to be over the forehead instead of being shot from chest height. We can also see that when he gathers this ball right there, right before he goes up with the shot, when we're looking at his knees to his hips, 100 degrees, that's totally fine in my opinion. Hips to knees, about 100 degrees as well. That's within the range of that 90 degrees that older school coaches tell you as well. Also, I really want to point out his elbow from gather to set point. Gather to set point, the elbow really doesn't move all that much because he's going up the middle of his body. A lot of players will have the ball go up the middle of their body if they have a longer wingspan because it's just more comfortable. And going out towards his right side, when he is attacking right, when he goes left-right into a shot, that left foot is a little ahead of that right. However, that's normal. That's why players have to kick their right leg out if they're going towards their right side. And again, we can see that it's a nice high release, ball over shoulder, elbow and shoulder in line with the rim, and creating that shooting triangle. The reason why you kick that right foot out is to get your elbow and shoulder in line with the rim. So make sure to go check out the shooting workout that is down in the description below if you are looking to be able to shoot the ball from further away and get more strength to be able to do so. Also, if you want to become a smarter, stronger, and more skilled shooting guard, make sure to go check out the shooting guard blueprint that is down in the description below. I'll see you guys again in my next video.